Well, conventional wisdom is that Donald Trump couldn't get a single Latin vote, but conventional wisdom, once again, is wrong. The Republican nominee is polling about 20% of Hispanic voters in a new Fox News Latino poll, still way behind Hillary Clinton, but a solid block of 2.5 million voters that Trump claims he can actually increase. Joining me now is Alfonso Aguilar. He's executive director of the Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles. Let me start with you yourself as a voter, as a Latin voter, Alfonso, because you came around to Donald Trump. Why did you come around?
Well, from my perspective, it's a practical vote. I'm not happy with some of the comments he made about immigrants or some of his proposals on immigration. But, you know, when you look at the challenges that the country is facing in terms of the economy, in terms of the future of the Supreme Court, the challenges we face with terrorism at home, I think that, you know, we cannot have 4 more years of a Democratic president.
And as you were turned around, do you think some of that 80% that's either for Hillary or somebody else can be turned around as well?
Oh, absolutely, but this effort has to start right away.
Yeah.
I think that Mr. Trump and the campaign need to aggressively court Hispanic voters, specifically in battleground states where the Latino vote is decisive, like Florida. And that hasn't happened yet. So the campaign needs to move right away.
Is it just rhetoric? I mean, for example, if he was to say, look, I've worked with thousands of Hispanics in my business community, and they are the hardest working people. When they come here to work, when they come here to take welfare, there's some do, that's a different story. But those who come here to work harder than anybody. If he just said something like that, would that turn some people around?
Oh, absolutely. You know what 2 of the top 3 issues for the Hispanic electorate in this election is the economy of jobs, no surprise there, and terrorism. So if he addresses those 2 issues directly to the Hispanic community, they're going to respond very favorably. You know, Hispanics are in unacceptable levels of poverty right now. The Hispanic wages are lower than any other group, including African Americans.
Wow.
And it's because of the big government policies of the Obama administration.
Finally, Alfonso, that's the one point I think that conservatives haven't been exploiting, is everybody, I married an immigrant, every immigrant family has a horror story about the INS. The Immigration Service is a typical, terrible bureaucracy that screws everything up. They lost my son's papers. They did all sorts of... You could say, Trump could say, look, this is a typical bureaucracy. This is what we have to stop in America. Hillary could do the same thing, by the way. Of course, she's in favor of more bureaucracy.
Well, I think on immigration, he just needs to be more constructive, and I think he's starting to be more constructive. He said recently in an interview with Bloomberg that he doesn't want to deport everyone, just those with criminal record. So if he goes a step further and talks about how he's going to deal constructively with the undocumented population, I think he would have a good response from Latinos. It can happen. He can do better, but he needs to start doing it right now.
Alfonso Aguilar, good.